Look, Scary Movie didn't just parody horror. It changed comedy.
What's that noise?
Oops. I farted. I didn't think you would hear me.
For a moment, it was sharp, focused, and actually smarter than the movie it was making fun of.
Yo, son, it's like I've seen this all before.
But then something happened. The jokes got louder, the stories got messier, and somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like Scary Movie at all.
That's discrimination.
Okay, now what the hell? This is completely insane.
And here's the part that most people miss. It wasn't because they ran out of ideas. It's because they lost the people who made it work in the first place.
Well, first of all, they took it from us, put it in and gave it to somebody else because we couldn't make a deal.
Because behind every version of Scary Movie, it's a completely different voice, a different style. And the more voices that got involved, the less it felt like the same franchise. So what really happened behind Scary Movie?
I'll give you a hint.
And how did it go from defining parody to becoming the exact thing it used to make fun of? And now with the 6th movie on the horizon, does it actually have a chance to get it right again?
Come on. You're right. Come on.
Let's get into it.
This is good shit.
Before Scary Movie became a franchise, it was a very specific idea.
It's spoof of a satire, that's what I like to say.
A parody of one type of movie done really well. At its core, Scary Movie is just Scream. The mass killer, the friend group, the who's the murderer mystery. All of it pulled from straight 90s teen horror.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
But instead of just copying it, the Wayans brothers broke it down. They took every rule, every cliche, every serious moment, and asked one question. What's actually funny about this?
You can't go where they went. We had to go somewhere else.
Why does the killer always fall down?
Oh, I gotta stop drinking.
Why does nobody just leave the house? Why is everybody making the worst decision possible? And instead of throwing in random references, they stayed focused. Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer. That world, that tone, that's what made it work. Because it wasn't just jokes, it was satire. It understood the genre before it made fun of
Did
it.
Scream have a plot?
No.
Did I Know What You Did Last Summer make any sense? Don't think so.
And just as important, it had a voice. Edgy, unfiltered,
Will this shirt make me look gay?
culturally aware.
What about now?
You could feel who was behind it.
Pause.
You almost. Oh, pause. God damn. I quit though.
And that voice carried everything. The story, the character, the timing of every joke. It wasn't just trying to parody everything. It was just parodying one thing really well. And that was the blueprint. Because once you lose that focus, once you lose that voice, you don't just lose the jokes, you lose the identity.
It's the ghost of Scary Movie 1. It's coming back.
Now, after the first movie blew up, the sequel wasn't a question. It was a rush.
After the premiere, the studio came up with the sequel.
Scary Movie 2 came out just 1 year later, bigger, louder, and faster. This time, the focus shifts from teen slasher to haunted house horrors.
Legend of Hell House.
I'll never look at another horror.
Never.
The Haunting.
Oh, don't say that.
The Haunting, House on Haunted Hill, with pieces of The Exorcist and Poltergeist mixed in. And on the surface, it still followed the same formula. One main setting, one main theme, one group of characters trapped inside it. Some jokes got more absurd, more exaggerated. Less about breaking down the genre, and more about pushing how far comedy can go. And you can feel it. The structure isn't as tight. The story isn't as focused. It's still funny, but it's not as sharp. Because instead of asking what's funny about this genre, it started to lean into what's the craziest thing we can do next.
Polly want a cracker?
Polly wants your mama's sweet ass.
What did Polly say to me?
And that difference is small, but important. Because this is where the blueprint started to stretch.
Whoa, Dwight. I say when we pull the
Not break yet, but bend. And once the formula started bending,
Take my hand. Ah, come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
it doesn't take much for it to snap.
Come on.
Oh, fuck it.
And this is where everything changes. Not gradually, not all at once, because after Scary Movie 2, the Wayans brothers were gone.
White folks are dead. We're getting the fuck out of here. Let's roll down. Come on, grab that shit. Let's go, motherfucker. Go.
And here's what most people don't realize. They didn't just walk away from the
They
franchise.
took it from us. And then they stole the idea for the third one.
They had ideas of where it could go next, but business got in the way. Contracts, studio decisions. ownership. And instead of continuing with the people who built it, the studio moved forward without them. Same name, same franchise, different voice. So Scary Movie 3 becomes something new.
She'll be missed terribly.
New director, David Zucker, the mind behind Airplane and the Naked Gun series. And you can feel the shift immediately.
And I didn't write this movie. So he said, I need a director for Scary Movie 3.
Instead of one focused genre, it started blending multiple films. The Ring, Signs, and the comedy changed too. Less edge, less bite, more rapid fire gags, more setup, punchline, and move on.
Could you rub this lotion on his little bottom? Just apply it liberally.
Still funny, but it was just different. Because the question is no longer, what's funny about this genre? It's now, how many jokes can we fit into this scene?
Mice, I thought she had rats.
No, rats are outside.
Yo, but what if a mouse goes outside? Does it become a rat? And if a rat is in the house, is it a mouse?
I ain't never seen no mouse outside. That's what I'm saying.
That's because it's a rat, fool.
And that shift matters. Because this is the moment Scary Movie split into two versions. The one the Wayans created, and the one the studio continued. And from here on out, it never quite feels the same again.
You can't do Wayans shit without the Wayans.
Yeah.
You can try, but eventually you're gonna lose a lot of money. Because what we do is special.
By the time Scary Movie 4 comes around, the formula is clear. Bigger references, bigger set pieces, bigger names.
Dr. Phil? What the hell's going on?
And on paper, that should have worked. You got some returning faces like Carmel Electra, a larger role for characters the audience already knows. And behind the scenes, David Zucker doubles down, bringing in actors that he helped make iconic in parody. Leslie Nielsen, Charlie Sheen, the same DNA that powered Airplane and the Naked Gun.
I just want to tell you both good luck.
Just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
As well as the Hot Shot movies. So now, everything is in place. Experienced parody director, legend comedy actors, a proven franchise, and yet, something still feels off. Because even though the jokes are there, the identity isn't. The film pulls from everywhere. War of the Worlds, The Grudge,
Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi.
Saw,
Is it too late for me to try this on? In the cellar.
No.
The Village.
This is the cellar. That's the cesspool.
Damn it.
Instead of one clear target, it becomes a mix of everything. Scene to scene, reference to reference. And that's the problem.
I thought you were dead. Oh, I thought you were dead too.
Because parody only works when it's grounded in something specific. And now, it's not really parodying a genre anymore. It's sampling it. And no matter how many familiar faces you bring in, no matter how many jokes you stack on top, you can't replace a voice. Because what made Scary Movie work wasn't just who was on screen, it was who was behind it. And by this point,
Could be worse.
the difference was impossible to ignore.
You want to switch?
Okay.
By the mid-2000s,
It's weird. Oh, yeah, but it's definitely going to be weird. But are you saying weird good or weird bad?
Scary Movie wasn't just a franchise anymore. It was a blueprint. And everyone started copying it. You suddenly get a wave of parody films. Date movie, epic movie, disaster movie. All built on the same idea. Take whatever's popular, reference it, add a punchline, move on. But in reality, this is where things start to fall apart. Because what made the first Scary Movie work was never the references. It was the focus.
Surprise. Surprise, Cindy.
It picked one lane, teen horror, and it broke it down. But now, everything is being parodied at once. Different movies, different genres, different tones, all crammed into the same space. And instead of satire, you get something else, recognition. Hey, I know that movie. Or hey, I've seen that before. And that becomes a joke. Not why it's funny, just that you recognize it. And the more this formula spreads, the more it waters down everything. Because now, instead of leading the genre, Scary Movie is just a part of it. One of many. And once parody becomes a formula, it stops feeling like parody at all.
But those roles are usually for the Wayans brothers.
By the time Scary Movie 5 arrives,
Awesome.
the franchise doesn't feel like a continuation anymore.
You were driving.
It feels like something trying to remember what it used to be.
Look at Mara. She looks great.
Right away, there's a shift. Almost none of the original cast returns. The familiar chemistry is gone. The only real link back is Simon Rex from Scary Movie 3, A reminder that the core lineup has completely dissolved. And instead of rebuilding the foundation, the film leads into something else entirely. It plays more like a collection of sketches than a connected story.
So when do we start dreaming?
Scene after scene, jokes are introduced, delivered, and moved on from.
Do it again.
No build, no escalation, no payoff, just momentum without direction. And some of the comedy pushes into strange territory. References feel disconnected.
Look, a whole box of toothbrushes.
Tone shifts immediately. Even the moments that are meant to be outrageous don't quite land the same anymore.
I'm sorry. I see an ape, I come out swinging.
That's understandable.
There's still strong comedic actors in the mix, people like Cat Williams and Molly Shannon, but the material didn't give them room to breathe. The talent is there, the script isn't.
What does that have to do with my... Hey!
And that's what makes the entry feel different. Because it's not just the jokes that don't land. It's like the movie feels like it doesn't know what it wants to build towards.
Okay, I don't care what it says.
Even the final moment, like the over-the-top car sequence, should feel like a payoff. But instead, it just plays like another gag. And it's not at the end of the movie. It's an end-credit sequence. As if to say, now this is what makes a scary movie. And maybe that's the most telling part. Because when a comedy franchise stops building towards anything, it stops being a story, it becomes noise.
3. 1, 2, 3. Damn.
You want to try it again?
Sure.
So, after 5 films, it's easy to think Scary Movie just ran out of jokes.
Just like Pootie Tang.
But that's not what happened. The ideas were still there. The actors were still there. Even the money and studio backing were still there.
I'm in him 650.
All right, so
Get Mirror back. This is where I'm making a real one.
What changed was the voice. Because when you trace it back, the first Scary Movie had something very specific. The Wayans perspective.
You can't do Wayans shit without the Wayans.
A clear point of view, a specific style of humor, a way of breaking down horror that felt intentional.
Parodies, it's the hardest. They're the hardest to write because there's so many different levels of jokes that you have to hit. Plus, you have to keep the story moving. You got to keep the story arcing.
So it made the writing process definitely more challenging.
But over time, that center got pulled in different directions. Wayans left, the studio stepped in, different directors brought different comedy styles, and the franchise kept expanding outward instead of staying focused. And that's where things started to fall apart. Because parody only works when it has something solid underneath. A target, a structure, a consistent lens. But as Scary Movie grew, it stopped aiming for one thing. It started reacting to everything. And when that happens, even a successful franchise starts to feel like it's drifting.
But wait! There's more! I'll be back. Uh-oh.
You can't do Wayans shit without the Wayans.
Yo.
Now, the interesting part is, Scary Movie isn't just a closed chapter anymore.
Regimes change. It's still the same company, but completely different, owned by somebody different. You know, we got a great working relationship, and we're going to make a classic.
Because after everything that came before, the comeback can't just be more of the same. It has to understand what made it work in the first place. And ironically, the answer's always been there. Focus. Modern horror gives them plenty to work with. Get Out, Hereditary, Smile, Talk to Me. Movies that are already culturally loaded, already full of tension, rules, and recognizing patterns. Which is exactly what Scary Movie used to do best. Break down the genre, expose the logic, then twist it into comedy. But this time, there's another factor. Nostalgia.
We back!
Because audiences didn't just grow up with these films. They remember when parody itself used to feel fresh.
My germs. My germs.
My germs.
Now with part 6 coming out, the question isn't just about bringing back jokes, it's about bringing back the identity. And maybe that's what made the original run so special. It wasn't just making fun of movies, it understood them well enough to mean something while doing it. And just like that, before parody became scattered references and endless spin-offs, Scary Movie was one of the sharpest voices in comedy. The real question is, can it find that voice again?